All right, so we saw some Trey Lance, and we saw some good. We saw some bad. This was a very rocky performance. I think the fair way to put it is he looked like a player who is not ready to be a day one starter, which we kind of knew going in, but still, obviously, if you're a 49ers fan, you're hoping that maybe he exceeds expectations, learns super quick, and is great right away. Doesn't quite work out that way. The good issue is I think that most of his problems are fixable. I don't think that he has these issues that I'm worried about how good he'll be in the future. All of his issues to me looked very fixable, very coachable, right? It's a lot easier to teach a guy to throw less hard than to teach a guy to throw harder, right? So that's not the end of the world. There were some negatives. There were a few positives as well. I did see him grow a little bit towards the end of the game and sort of improve upon a couple of issues. But for the most part, I would say this was not a great performance from Trey Lance, and that's okay. You have Jimmy Garoppolo. You can let him be the backup. That's kind of my thoughts on it. So let's get into the film study. We're going to actually start off talking about some good, and the main thing I want to talk about to start off really is going to be the throwing too much fastballs, right? Throwing very hard. This is something I heard Chris Sims talk about right after the preseason week 1 game, which I found interesting. I noticed sort of some inconsistencies in how hard he was throwing it, but when he brought that up, I thought, okay, I'll look for it this game, and you couldn't miss it in this game, quite frankly. So let's start off with this play. This was good, but you can also kind of see the fastball every play mindset a little bit. So it's going to be man coverage. You see the route that's going to be thrown to here, and watch what happens. So look, right when this play starts, Deebo Samuel, he runs the route. He's open very quickly. The defensive back was playing very far off, so you have a wide open receiver. And to me, this is really good by Trey Lance. Look, it's a quick dart right there. Is it a hard throw? Yeah, but to me, that's not too hard. That's a throw that you can catch more often than not as long as it's on target, which Deebo Samuel was able to do. I would put that in the good play category. I would. Although something like this is a good example of how it can be a negative to throw the ball too hard. So what's going to happen on this play is it's man coverage. You see the route going over the middle. And so, again, it's a play that can work on paper, and watch what happens. So Trey Lance takes a bit of a low snap, but it's fine. He makes this throw, and you see how hard he throws it right there. So again, he's throwing bullets out there. And this is one that you saw basically everyone blamed a wide receiver on. And you kind of saw this last week as well, of throws like this that just weren't able to be entirely complete. He then tried to take some off last week, but kind of took too much off on certain plays. So he's just, again, he's struggling to get the exact amount of force he has to put on these balls down exactly. So watch what happens. It's off the receiver's hands. Is that a catchable football by Deebo Samuel? Sure, but let's be honest. It's not like Deebo Samuel is known for his drops. A big part of that is because it's a little bit more difficult to catch those than it is to catch it when it's a little bit softer. So that's just, it's a very real thing. And when you're that close, sometimes those are going to be dropped. And this play is when it really became an issue. Those last two, they were catchable. It is what it is. But this is why it can be a real issue. So it's going to be man coverage. You have a receiver running over the middle, and again, so very similar to these last couple plays. Watch what happens. So Lance takes a snap, and he is going to make this throw. He hasn't made it yet. You see 18 right there is open. This is a throw you can make. This should be a completion. This is wide open. And Lance wants to lead him a little bit by throwing it a little bit further, which makes some sense. So that's throwing it a little bit closer towards the middle of the field so 18 can catch it and run with it. And all this is good. The not so good is just going to be, again, look at how fast this ball is. It's a complete bullet, and then when you pair that with being a little bit off, that's what's going to result in incompletion. On one hand, you could call that a drop, but the reality is basically no receiver is making that catch. I don't know who makes that catch. Maybe Larry Fitzgerald, maybe, but you have to. That's an elite level play to make that catch because of how hard it is and because it was off. So that is entirely on Trey Lance. It is. It is not a bad wide receiver play. It is a bad throw. It's that simple. Kind of a funny thing was right here, where what would happen on this play is it would almost be like, hey, on the bright side, when you miss throws, now opposing defenders have a hard time catching it because you're throwing it so hard there as well. So on this play, it's zone coverage, and a route is going to get open. It's going to be hard to see from the broadcast angle. I will show it, but then I'll show the other angle that's a little bit easier to see. Like, watch. As you see, Lance is going to throw this one, and again, very hard. and incomplete, but you see the other angle. This was right through the Chargers defensive back's hands. So this, I would say it should have been intercepted, but again, he threw it so hard, nobody can catch it, not even the opposing team. So I guess there you go. That's the bright spot. But again, it's something he's going to have to learn how to do. Slow the ball down a little bit. That's a missed throw as well, which is obviously not good. So pair those on top of each other. It's not great, and these weren't the only negative plays. So like right here, what's going to happen on this one is it's zone coverage. I can't tell exactly what zone coverage this is. Again, no all 22, so working with what we have. But you see 81 right there. Watch what he's going to do. Lance takes the snap, and he is going to very quickly get open. I believe this is a blown coverage by the Chargers. Could be wrong, but I believe this is supposed to be either a cover 3 or cover 4, and someone just blew the coverage, which now results in a 49ers player being just completely wide open. And these are the types of plays that Kyle Shanahan loves to run. He wants his quarterback looking there. So this looks really bad. I don't know if it's actually that bad because we don't know what's going on in the huddle. We don't know where Lance is supposed to be looking here. Yes, there's a wide open receiver that he misses. The flip side, though, is I try to always not really kill guys for this stuff just because I don't know I don't know if he's missing a read or if this is legitimately where he's supposed to be looking. And it just so happens that a different read that he shouldn't be looking at yet happened to get wide open. You can't see all 5 eligible receivers at every moment. So this is going to happen. So I'm actually not really that freaking out about him missing this. It would have been nice if he saw it, but he didn't for whatever reason. However, watch how now he steps up in the pocket and he's going to, that is so risky. He was a foot away from losing the football right there. A defensive back, reached out and nearly knocked that, or excuse me, not defensive back, defensive lineman reached out, nearly knocked that away. That's just dangerous. You cannot be doing that, Trey Lance. We would then get on this final drive of the first half, some legitimate good play from Lance. Now, a lot of it was admittedly just good, I would say bad defensive play by the Chargers, but still, he took advantage of those mistakes. It's zone coverage. It's a zone blitz right here, cover 2 zone blitz. You see the route where he wants to throw to, and watch what happens. Look, the Chargers defensive player, I would say lets him go way too early, which now results in a receiver being wide open very quickly. So again, this is wide open, but hey, give credit to Trey Lance. He took some off here, right? This is not a bullet throw. He's putting a little bit of air under it. So, hey, there you go. You want to say he's learning? He's learning. And also, look at this throw. Perfectly on the money. So, very good throw. Not exactly a difficult throw to make, but still, he made it and made it as well as you possibly could have. So, that is a confidence booster. They would end up getting it into the end zone on another blown coverage to a touchdown pass to Sanu. But again, little confidence building stuff right here. We also saw something like this. So what's going to happen on this play is it's not a great play by Trey Lance, quite frankly. So you're going to want to watch the right tackle blocking 58 right here. It's a play action, and watch what happens. So look, right when this play starts, the play action did not work on 58. He's in a good position to try to get to Trey Lance right here. And I've always kind of referred to this as guys who have good peripherals and guys who have bad peripherals. I can't really explain it, but some guys are just better at navigating this stuff and noticing this stuff than others. One thing is, while it is the right tackle, Lance is looking to his left. However, an important thing to note here is Lance does notice this. Watch how Lance reacts to it. Watch him kind of sidestep right there. I don't understand why you do that. I don't understand why you think that you can get away from him by sidestepping. And again, he was in a very good situation in college. This stuff is kind of new to him. Again, he's a raw player. He is. And something like this, it's just something he has to learn that, hey, when there's pressure like that, get rid of the football. That's what you have to do, quite frankly. We'd have something like this where what's going to happen on this one is this is another just great example of, probably the best example of just a complete fastball, making it a tough catch on this play. Look at just how hard he throws it. It's almost comical how quick he threw that one. This one, also not a great decision. A very good learning experience for Lance, where you see this throw, he's off balance, there's no separation. This is just not a throw that you should make, quite frankly. Unless you have a great receiver that you really trust in these jump ball scenarios, then okay, you can make that decision if you want to. To me, this is not the time to make this decision. And look, as you see, that's just a bad decision. Got lucky that one was dropped. by the defensive back right there. Because, I mean, really, that's what it was. It was a drop, and it wasn't a good decision by Lance. Now, we would start to see stuff like this, where what's going to happen on this one is it's a 3rd down and 4. We saw him start to get a little bit of touch on the ball. Not necessarily perfect, but we started to see it a little bit. Watch. Like, look, he's just taking a little bit off. It's still getting there quickly, but, it's not quite as much of a complete hammer throw as we've seen him do in the past. Just a little bit of more touch there. Also, this one, he is rolling out, but still, again, a little bit of air under it. Exactly what you want there. So yeah, that's how I think about Lance. Listen, there was some good. Let's not act like there was no good. It just wasn't a lot of good. There was some negatives. Again, nothing that's making me panic for him because he doesn't have to start week 1 or anything. This is going to be a process. Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter for 2021. That's clearly the goal right now. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.